Tomorrow's game against Sam Houston will bring us the Arch Manning breakout performance that we've been looking for. I'll tell you why on today's episode of Locked On Longhorns. Intro.
You are Locked On Longhorns, your daily podcast on the Texas Longhorns. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. You are locked on to the Texas Longhorns. I'm your host, BK Brad Kellner, Texas grad, Austin local, and longtime sports radio host here in the Lone Star State. Thank you for making Locked On Longhorns a part of your day every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. Just like there's more to every player, more dedication, more attention to detail, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Stay tuned later in the episode for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. It's Mazda, move and be moved. We've got 4 bold predictions and 3 things we need to see in tomorrow night's game against Sam Houston. But first, let's talk about the quarterback. That's all everybody has wanted to talk about this week, right? We are 3 games into the 2025 season, but it feels like we're still waiting for Arch Manning to arrive here in 2025. We're still waiting for him to show everyone why he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, why he was the number 1 player in the class of 2023. We're still waiting for him to show why he was the preseason favorite to win the Heisman and why he was the guy who people thought would lead the Longhorns to their first national championship in 20 years. It's kind of felt like Arch Manning has been hibernating so far. It's time for him to wake up and get out of that slumber and look like the guy that we wanted and honestly expected him to be. He has the most golden of golden opportunities a quarterback could ever have tomorrow night. It's rare to use the phrase get right game when you won your most previous game, but tomorrow is a get right game for Arch Manning and really a get right game for the entire Longhorn offense. Why? Sam Houston is bad. I mean, they are really bad. The numbers show it. The eye test shows it. They are, without question, the worst team on Texas's schedule this year. And they may be one of the worst teams in all of FBS college football this season. Everything has looked bad for Sam Houston so far. They're 0-3. They've lost all 3 of their games by at least 17 points. They are not looking good. And, oh, by the way, they have played all G5 teams to this point. So it's not like they played a brutal schedule. They're 0-3 against some not so great teams. The worst part of Sam Houston's 0-3 start, the pass defense. Here's the good news for Arch Manning. How about these numbers? Out of 136 teams in Division I FBS college football, Sam Houston ranks 133rd in passing yards per game allowed. They're 131st in passing touchdowns allowed. 115th in completion percentage allowed, 113th in pass efficiency defense, 108th in yards per pass allowed, and last but not least, 119th in explosive passing plays allowed. Not good. Now, the doomsday artist within me says if Texas can't figure out its passing offense in this game, then we are in trouble for the rest of the season. And he'd be right. The optimist in me says Texas is going to figure out the passing offense in this game because Sam Houston is absolutely terrible. Even though they've had 2 weeks to get ready for this game, it should not matter one bit. I promise this entire segment isn't going to be numbers telling you how bad this Bearcat defense is, but a couple more for you. We just talked about the pass defense. How about some overall defensive numbers for Sam Houston? Their defense ranks 130th in points per game allowed, again, out of 136. They are 125th in total defense, so yards per game allowed, and they are also 123rd in third down defense. So any way you look at it, any way you spin it, the Sam Houston defense is really, really bad. And they had so much turnover from last year's team. It's a first-time head coach with Phil Longo. It's interesting. Sam Houston actually won 10 games a season ago, but they lost their head coach, Casey Keeler, to Temple. He took his entire staff with him. He also basically took Sam Houston's entire 2024 roster with him to Philly. The Bearcats brought in 55 transfers in the offseason. 55. 33 of those 55 came in after the spring. So they didn't even have a full offseason to get those guys together. Phil Longo has talked about it a couple of times. He's like, and our biggest job in the offseason was just learning everybody's name. That's how much roster turnover. You talk about an overhaul, you talk about a rebuild. So many new faces for the ghost of Sam Houston. That's what they have this year. We know Texas lost a good amount, but they lost nothing close to what Sam Houston did. And of course, the Longhorns have way more talent than Sam Houston does as well. So this is it. Everything is set up for Arch Manning to light it up inside DKR tomorrow night. Good news for Texas. Wide receiver DeAndre Moore is back. He's out of concussion protocol. He's been practicing all week. He should help. Ryan Wingo's there. Parker Livingston is there. Jack Andrews is there. Every wide receiver and tight end outside of Emmett Mosley V, who we have yet to see in a Texas uniform, will be suited up and ready to rock and roll tomorrow. So there is more than enough talent for this Texas offense to feast against the Sam Houston defense. It's time for Arch to let loose. Not just talk about letting loose. It feels like Arch Manning and Steve Sarkisian has talked about Arch Manning letting it rip a number of different times. They've said all of the right things, but actions speak louder than words. Arch Manning hasn't done that yet. He looks scared. He looks hesitant. He looks panicked. Looks like he doesn't believe in himself. And I think that lack of confidence is kind of infiltrating the rest of the offense. It's not all Arch Manning's fault that the offense has looked as sluggish as it has. The offensive line deserves some blame. The running game hasn't been good enough. The receiving game hasn't been perfect. It's not all on number 16, but your quarterback's the guy. He's your leader. There's a reason the QB, not just at Texas, but everywhere at any level of football, gets the most credit when things are going well and the most blame when things aren't going well. He's the most important player out there, and the team kind of feeds off of the QB's energy. Arch Manning hasn't had the energy that he's needed to have. He looks, again, timid out there at times. Let it rip. I don't care if Arch Manning has an early turnover tomorrow. Like, I just want him playing with confidence because he hasn't been doing that all season. Like, a lot of times, Arch Manning has been looking in the right places. He knows the play. He knows where his guys are supposed to be. His eyes are in the right spot. It's just too often he hasn't thrown the ball to the receiver where the ball needs to go to. It just doesn't look like he trusts himself out there. I heard Joel Klatt talking earlier this week saying that Arch Manning looks rushed, like he's going through things too quickly. I don't know exactly what it is, but this isn't the Arch Manning that we saw last season. A small sample size, but it ain't the same guy that we saw in 2.5 games in 2024 when he was lighting the world on fire and had a number of Texas fans calling for a change at quarterback. Just doesn't look like he trusts himself out there. Well, guess what? It's time for Arch to fight back. It's time for him to show us what he is truly made of. He hasn't gone through a lot of adversity in his life. This may be the toughest task that he's ever had to go through on the football field and really anywhere, because it's not only the eyes of the Texas fan base that are upon Arch Manning, it's the eyes of the college football world and the NFL world that are paying attention. And y'all have seen the articles. Y'all have seen the Sports Center segments. You know he's being talked about, and he knows he's being talked about a lot. He got booed last weekend. He heard that. He knows what people are saying about him. It's time for him to shut some people up. It's time for Arch to get his mojo back. And I get it. It's Sam Houston. Even if he goes for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, the haters won't care. They'll say it's Sam Houston. That's what you're supposed to do against a team like that. But he will care. The guys in the locker room will care. The coaching staff will care. I'll care. I think Texas fans will care, because this is the last chance that he has to build up some confidence before the start of SEC play. Of course, Texas does have the open week next week. That's the good news. 2 weeks to prepare for that trip to the Swamp. But this is obviously the last on-field opportunity against another team that Arch will have before league play begins. He's got to play on his toes, not on his heels. He needs to show that confidence in himself, but also in the players around him too. Can't change the past. As much as he would like to, as much as we would like to, nothing you can do about the first 3 games that haven't gone your way. He could start the turnaround tomorrow, and he has a great opportunity to do so against one of the worst defenses in college football and one of the worst pass defenses in the sport too. I think he will. I think tomorrow we get the breakout performance that we've been looking for Arch Manning, and I hope it's the start of a number of breakout performances that we see from Arch in 2025. What say you? What's your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10 in Arch Manning against Sam Houston? Are you still nervous, or do you feel like, yeah, this is the time he's going to put it all together for the first time in 2025? All right, comment below, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube. I did this segment last Friday, and it didn't work. So we're going to try again and hope for a different result. 3 things that Texas needs to do tomorrow against Sam Houston. We've got it next on Locked On Longhorns. But first, a word for our friends at Mazda. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than just put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward, Grayson Littleton's interception last week against UTEP, the first of what I think will be many during his Longhorn career. The true freshman has been phenomenal in his first 3 games on the 40 acres, and you saw how excited he got, and you saw how excited his teammates got after that pick of Malachi Nelson last week. Moving the game forward, he is the future of the Texas defense, and well, for him, the future is right now. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. It's Mazda. Move and be moved. And also a shout out to our friends at Wayfair. The weather is starting to cool down. The days are getting shorter. Fall is right around the corner. That has me wanting my place to feel even cozier. And when it comes to cozifying your place this fall, Wayfair is the place to go. Wayfair has everything you need to set the mood for the season. Recliners, warm bedding, fall decor, even an espresso machine so you can make your favorite drinks at home. What I love most about Wayfair is the variety. Options for every style and budget, so you don't have to pick and choose. You don't have to compromise. You get everything you want. It's the perfect time to set up your place for the fall so you can enjoy those cozy nights with family and friends. Cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates. From those comfy recliners to cozy bedding to fall decor, you'll find it all for way less at Wayfair.com. That's Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right, welcome back to Locked On Longhorns, your team every day. We did this segment last Friday. 3 things that I felt like we needed to see Texas do against UTEP. And a quick refresher, those 3 things were fewer penalties, more success on third downs, and explosive runs. 0 for 3. So we're hoping for a different result this week. Now, maybe you could say they went 1/2 for 3 because they had 12 penalties against San Jose State for 115 yards. They had 7 for 78 yards against UTEP. So a little bit of progress there, but still not good enough. Texas didn't play a clean enough game, and that's why they only get half a point of credit. And I might be generous with giving them that. So for this week's game, 3 things I think we need to see from Texas. Otherwise, I'm going to be very nervous that this group is going to be struggling with these things all season long. We're keeping 2 of the 3 the exact same, and we're changing up the last one. So third down defense, again, that's on my list. I was hoping UTEP was going to be the get-right game on third down. It wasn't. Texas was 5 for 16 on third downs against UTEP. They were also 2 of 5 on fourth downs as well. Maybe a different conversation for a different day. Actually, that different day was yesterday because we spent some time on yesterday's show talking about that. But Texas, specifically on third downs, just 31% against UTEP. On the season, Texas is 12 of 42 on third down conversions. That has them ranked 126th in the nation. That is almost unbelievably bad with this coach and all of the talent on this offense. I don't care how new this offense is. I don't care that they lost 8 starters from 2024. It's inexcusably bad. And again, stunningly bad so far this season. Well, here's the good news. UTEP's third down defense, I think I mentioned it in segment 1, 123rd in the country, 48.9% of third down conversions. This is the stoppable force against the movable object. That's what we have in this game. If Texas look, hopefully Texas doesn't have a ton of third downs in this game. Hopefully they're having more success on first and second down so they can just move the chains, and hopefully they're not having a bunch of 10, 11, 12 play drives. Hopefully they can move the ball down the field pretty quickly and get into the end zone pretty easily. But there are going to be some third downs. That's inevitable in the game of football. Texas needs to be a hell of a lot better than they have been so far this year. We're also going to bring up explosive runs again. The same as last week. Texas has just one running back run of more than 15 yards this year. That was C.J. Baxter's 18-yarder against San Jose State in the third quarter. The longest run of the season for Texas, anybody, quarterback or running back, is 20 yards. That was Arch Manning's touchdown in the third quarter of that San Jose State game. That's pathetic, y'all. That is pathetic. Like, I get it. Trey Wisner's missed the last two games. C.J. Baxter basically missed all of last game. And I don't think those guys are going to be playing tomorrow. We know C.J. Baxter's out. Trey Wisner was called doubtful by Steve Sarkisian yesterday. So I think it's safe to assume that he will also be out. So a little tougher without your starting guys. But, like, you should be, as a Texas fan, assuming you are if you're tuned in, you should be just as annoyed, frustrated, upset about these rushing stats that you are about Arch Manning's play right now. I mean, it's embarrassing. Texas is dead last in the SEC in running back runs that have gone for 15 or more yards. Again, they only have one this season. Missouri leads the conference. They have 12 this year. Texas, I mean, the running backs have not been good. The offensive line has not been good. The run block grades for some of these guys, especially on the interior, really, really disappointing. In Texas, they're 13th in rushing yards per attempt in the conference. They're 15th in yards after contact per attempt in this conference. So it's on the offensive line. It's on the running backs. It's on everybody. Has to be better. Has to be better. Sam Houston's rush defense stats are better than their pass defense stats, but they're still not very good. And again, I gave y'all the total yardage and total scoring numbers for that Bearcat defense. Texas, even without their top two guys, they should be able to create more holes. They should be able to run the ball more effectively, especially if Sam Houston is going to do what UTEP did and play that 3-high safety shell look to try to avoid giving up big plays over the top. UTEP was daring Texas to run. Texas still couldn't run. If Sam Houston does that tomorrow and the Longhorns still can't run, I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball all season, guys and gals. I really don't. So, need some explosive runs. Need more consistency overall on the ground, but I'd like to see these tailbacks break off a few big ones tomorrow night. And then last but not least, we're not doing penalties again, although I would like to see them clean that up. We're going to go to the red zone offense. Once again, we are talking about this. For the third consecutive year, the red zone offense is a big bugaboo for Steve Sarkisian's side of the football. How bad is it? Texas ranks 130th in red zone offense. It's in terms of percentage of red zone drives that result in points. So touchdowns or field goals, Texas is scoring on just 61.5% of their trips inside the 20. Again, that's 130th. What is it, 7th to last in America? Here's the good news. Sam Houston is tied for dead last in terms of red zone defense. Every single drive a Sam Houston opponent has had that has gotten into the red zone has resulted in points. 100%. Can't be any worse than that. Figure it the F out. Pardon my almost French there. Maybe I meant figure it the French out. Maybe that's what I was saying. Like, you should be getting touchdowns in this game. You shouldn't be settling for field goals here. And Sark basically told us on Monday he's going to stay aggressive on fourth down. So if Texas does have a fourth down and relatively short in the red zone, I think they're going to go for it. They were 2 of 5 on fourth down against UTEP. Hopefully they don't have 5 fourth downs against Sam Houston. But when they do, and when they do decide to be aggressive and go, they need to actually convert. You should be getting into the end zone every single time you get into the red zone against this team. Would like to see it. I think it's more than I would like to see it. I think you need to see it. Because if you can't score in the red zone against San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston, and if you can't run the ball explosively against those 3 teams, and if you continue to struggle on third down against those teams, then how we feeling going into the Swamp on October 4th? How we feeling going into the Cotton Bowl a week later? How we feeling going to Athens in November? Need to see those things to feel confident. I know it's Sam Houston. For some, it won't do much, but I can tell you, for everyone, if Texas doesn't do these things, panic button. It won't just be lifting the little glass case over the emergency fire alarm. It'll be pulling the fire alarm if Texas doesn't figure these things out. All right, we'll take your thoughts. What else do we need to see from the Horns tomorrow night? One segment to go on a Friday show. A little more positive here. How about some bold predictions for Texas in tomorrow's game against Sam Houston? Brace yourselves for these. They are coming up next right here on Locked On Longhorns. Oh, but first, a word for our friends at Square. Can I find the Square overlay? Yes, we can find the Square overlay. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local sports bar that's packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving the community for decades. These are places that bring people together. And when neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Square powers some of your favorite businesses here in the Austin area. The Mossie's Mediterranean Cuisine. I love that place. Fantastic Mediterranean buffet. So good. One of my favorite spots to go here in the Austin area, powered by Square. Also, Julie's Noodles up there on 183. Fantastic spot. Local places that run on Square. They make the neighborhood feel like home. And again, it's not just those two. So many places around the Austin area and around the state of Texas run on Square. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy that you did. It's Square. We'll see you in the neighborhood. And also a word for our friends at DoorDash. The weekend is almost here. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. Give some love to Ethan Burke. We've talked about him a little bit on this show, but he has been fantastic for the Longhorns, and he was really good in the win over UTEP, the highest graded player for Texas in that week 3 victory. 5 tackles, a half tackle for a loss. He was everywhere all the time, all at once. And we've seen it from Ethan Burke over his Texas career. It was no fluke. He's on a streak. And just like Ethan Burke delivered for the Horns, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday that you order. Stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. All right, final segment on a Friday edition of Locked On Longhorns, your team every day. How about 4 bold predictions for tomorrow night's game against the Bearcats of Sam Houston, or the ghost of Sam Houston, whatever you want to call them. No longer Sam Houston State anymore. Good for them. They realize they're not a state. Maybe San Jose could take some notes. There are a bunch of other schools that could take some notes on that. Bold predictions for the Longhorns tomorrow. Number 1, a Texas running back will score a touchdown in this game. Don't laugh. You might think that's not bold. Well, the reality of the situation is a Texas running back has yet to score a touchdown in 2025. Trey Wisner, CJ Baxter, James Simon, Jarrett Gibson, Christian Clark, all of those guys have gotten carries. None of them have found the end zone. That's amazing. And we played 25% of the regular season, and that stat still remains true. Tomorrow, I think 2 Texas running backs get into the end zone. I'll be a little bolder than just saying 1 will find the paint. I'll say 2 different Longhorn running backs get into the end zone this year, ending the brutal drought to open up the season. Number 2, Arch Manning will go for at least 5 touchdowns. He's already done that once. Did it against San Jose State. 4 passing touchdowns, 1 more on the ground. Maybe the most criticized 5-touchdown game of all time. But I think Arch does it again tomorrow. And I'm going to say it's the same thing. I think it's 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown for Arch. Again, I'm predicting him to have a breakout day. I think the stats will show it. I think the eye test will show it. I think he'll do it with his arm. I think he'll do it with his legs. I think we'll see the version of Arch Manning that we were hoping to see in the first 3 games on full display in game 4 tomorrow night. So at least 5 touchdowns for Arch Manning. Hopefully I'm underselling him a little bit because we're hoping this Texas team can get into the 50s or maybe even 60s tomorrow. Arch had 5 in that San Jose State game. Texas only scored 38 as a team. Hopefully it's Arch getting 5 and then a few other guys, the running backs, also scoring as well. Number 3, the Texas defense will outscore the Sam Houston offense. I'm not sure Sam Houston's going to find the end zone in this game. I'm not sure they're going to find a scoreboard, to be honest with you. And I think Texas is going to get at least one defensive touchdown in this game, whether it's a pick six or a scoop and score, whatever. They might get a punt return touchdown too, which if you want to throw defense and special teams in here, you're improving my chances of being right. So I appreciate that. But I think somebody on this Texas defense gets into the end zone tomorrow, and I don't think anybody on the Sam Houston offense gets into the end zone tomorrow. So maybe the Bearcats get 3, maybe they get 6, but I think, Texas defense will, again, find a way to score tomorrow, and the bold prediction is they will outscore Sam Houston in this football game. And last but not least, my 4th and final bold prediction, Texas will cover the spread. Doesn't sound like much, but the Longhorns are 0-3 against the spread this season. The number right now, according to our friends at FanDuel, is 39.5. It opened up at 41.5, so some money has been coming in on the Bearcats. A lot of people have watched Texas offense the last few weeks, and I think there's a lot of questions about whether or not Texas could get to 40 points on their own. Like, even if they do pitch a shutout defensively, can the offense score enough to cover the line? I think the answer to that is yes. I do think Texas gets in the upper 40s, and I think they hold Sam Houston to something in the single digits. So I think Texas will cover tomorrow. Love for them to get 50. I'd love for this to be an easy cover. I think the total is right around 51 or 52. I'd love for the Longhorn offense to get that on their own, right? That would be the ultimate right there. But I do think Texas not only wins, but I think they cover the spread for the first time all year. Some of these don't feel like they should be that bold, but that's the way things have looked for this Texas team. So again, to recap, a Texas running back will score a touchdown in this game. We'll say 2 Longhorn tailbacks will score in this game. Arch Manning goes for at least 5 touchdowns. The Texas defense outscores the Sam Houston offense. And then last but not least, the Longhorns pick up their first win against the spread here in 2025. That'll do it for today's show. What do you say? Do you agree with me? Do you have some other bold predictions? Comment below with your thoughts. If you made it this far, God bless you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate y'all's continued support of what we're building here with Locked On Longhorns. Please remember to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. That's one of the fastest ways to help us grow. Again, thank you for making Locked On Longhorns a part of your day. For your next listen, check out Locked On Bets. Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they have you covered, getting you ready for the football weekend. Expert analysis, game picks, the lock of the day. It's all there in one spot. You can find Locked On Bets on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. We will do some sort of post-game show. It might end up being on Sunday morning. Of course, it's a pretty late kick tomorrow here in Austin, but we'll have a post-game show this weekend. Hopefully the Longhorns take care of business and make it look easy tomorrow night at DKR. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the weekend. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Until next time, horns up, mics off. We'll see y'all soon. This is Locked On Longhorns.